Mudclaw recoiled, and drew his lips back in a snarl. At once Brambleclaw leapt up to stand beside his clanmate, and Squirrelpaw dashed up to her mentor's other side. "What are you doing in our territory?" Dustpelt demanded. "As if I need to ask." "We're not stealing prey," Mudclaw retorted. "Then what's that?" Squirrelpaw asked, flicking her tail toward the vole that the apprentice was carrying. "It's not a ThunderClan vole," One Whisker explained. "An old friend of Firestar's. He looked thoroughly embarrassed to be caught like this on ThunderClan territory. It ran across the border from RiverClan." "Even if that's true, you're stealing it from RiverClan," Brambleclaw pointed out. "You're allowed to drink from the river, not take prey." The grey-black apprentice dropped the vole and launched himself across the grass at Brambleclaw. "Mind your own business!" he spat. He barreled into Brambleclaw and knocked him over. Brambleclaw let out a surprised yowl as the apprentice's teeth closed in the loose skin on his neck. Twisting his body, he managed to score his claws down the other cat's shoulder and felt a strong hind paws scrabbling at his belly. With a screech of fury, he tore his neck free and dived for his opponent's throat. As his teeth found their mark, Brambleclaw caught a glimpse of One Whisker aiming a blow with his paws. He braced himself to fight both cats at once, before he realized that the Winged Clan warrior had battered the apprentice away, and was standing over him, rage smouldering in his eyes. "That's enough, Crowpaw!" he snarled. "Attacking a ThunderClan warrior when we're trespassing on their territory. What next?" Crowpaw shot him a furious look through narrowed eyes. "He called us thieves!" "Well, he was right, wasn't he?" One Whisker turned to Dustpelt, who was standing a few fox lengths away. As Brambleclaw scrambled to his feet, he saw that the ThunderClan warrior had thrust himself in front of Squirrelpaw, preventing her from joining in the fight. "I'm sorry, Dustpelt," One Whisker went on. "It is a RiverClan vole, and I know we shouldn't have taken it, but there's hardly any prey in our own territory. Our elders and kits are hungry, and—" He stopped, as if he thought he had already said too much. "What will you do now?" "The vole's between you and the RiverClan," Dustpelt meowed coldly. "I see no need to tell Firestar about this, unless it happens again. Just get out of our territory and stay out." Mudclaw nudged Crowpaw to his paws. The Winged Clan deputy still looked furious at being found out, and Brambleclaw noticed that he did not add his apology to One Whiskers. Without a word, he headed for the border, with One Whisker close behind him. Crowpaw hesitated. Then, with a defiant glance, he snatched up the vole and streaked after his clanmates. "I suppose we'll never hear the last of that," Squirrelpaw spat at Brambleclaw. Her eyes glittered with annoyance. "Happy now you've been proved right?" "I didn't say a word," Brambleclaw protested. Squirrelpaw didn't reply, but stalked off with her tail in the air. Brambleclaw looked after her with a sigh. He would much rather the incident had never happened. His fur prickled with the sense of impending disaster. Clans were becoming so thirsty and desperate that even decent cats like One Whisker were preparing to trespass, steal, and lie. Heat lay over the forest with the weight of a huge, choking pelt, and it seemed as if every living thing was waiting for a storm to break. Could this be the trouble that StarClan had foretold? The next few days and nights, as the moon waned to the merest scratch in the sky, seemed never-ending to Brambleclaw. When he thought of what might happen at Fortrees when he went to meet Tawnypelt, he felt every hair in his pelt rise up with dread. Would the other clan cats come? And what exactly would be revealed at midnight? Perhaps StarClan themselves would come down and speak with them. At last the night came, where there were almost no moon at all, but the stars of Silverpelt glittered so brightly that Brambleclaw had no difficulty in finding his way through the gorse tunnel and up to the ravine. Leaves rustled as he brushed through the undergrowth from one patch of shade to the next, trying to tread as lightly as if he were creeping up on a mouse. Other ThunderClan warriors might be out late, and Brambleclaw did not want to be seen, nor to explain where he was going. He had not told any cat about his dream, and he knew that Firestar would not approve of his going to meet with cats of other clans at Fortrees when he was not protected by the full moon truce. The air was cool now, but there was a dusty scent in the air, rising from the parched earth. Plants were drooped, or lay withering on the ground. The whole forest cried out for rain, like a starving kit, and if it did not come soon, it would not be only Winged Clan who was short of water. When Brambleclaw reached Fortrees, the clearing was empty. The sides of the great rock glimmered with the starshine, and the leaves of the 4 oak trees rustled gently overhead. Brambleclaw shivered. He was so used to seeing the hollow full of cats that it seemed more daunting than before. So much bigger, with so many unexplained shadows. He could almost imagine that he had stepped into the mystical world of StarClan. He padded across the clearing and sat at the base of the great rock. His ears were pricked to catch the smallest sound, and every nerve from ears to tail-tip was stretched with anticipation. Who would the other cats be? As moments slipped by, his excitement was replaced by anxiety. Not even Tawny Pelt had arrived. Perhaps she had changed her mind, or perhaps this was the wrong meeting place after all. At last he saw movement in the bushes about halfway up the side of the hollow. Brambleclaw tensed. The breeze was blowing away from him, so he could not pick up the scent. From the direction it was coming, it could have been either a River Clan or Wing Clan cat. He followed the movement with his eyes as far as a clump of bracken at the bottom of the slope. The fronds waved wildly, and a cat stepped into the clearing. Brambleclaw stared, frozen for a heartbeat, then sprung to his paws, his neck fur bristling in fury. "Squirrel Paw!"